The United Kingdom putting Iran on blast after Iran fired ballistic missiles toward a joint U.S.-U.K. military base in the Indian Ocean. Britain's defense minister calling the attack unsuccessful, as others warn it marks a significant escalation by Iran to reach U.S. targets far beyond the region. Chief International Correspondent Steve Harrigan joining us from Armenia with more on that. Steve.
Kevin, Iran's new supreme leader giving an address to the nation to mark the end of the Ramadan holiday and also the start of the Persian New Year. Yet once again, he has neither been seen nor heard in public. The address was read over state television by someone else. Pentagon officials have long suspected that the new 56-year-old supreme leader was seriously wounded in the first day of attacks. In the meantime, U.S. forces continue to pound Iranian positions and weapons around the Strait of Hormuz. This as President Trump keeps up the pressure on European allies for them to do more to open up that key strait. Here's President Trump.
NATO could help us, but they so far haven't had the courage to do so. And others could help us, but, we don't use it. At a certain point, it'll open itself at a certain point.
In the meantime, the U.S. has temporarily lifted some restrictions on Iranian oil. About 140 million barrels already on ships will be allowed to be sold in the Far East. The move could hold the price of oil down, at least in the short term. Kevin, back to you.
Steve Harrigan for us in Armenia. Steve, thank you as always. Let's continue the conversation with U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Hawkeye, Matthew Whitaker. Really great to have you with us today. And this is one of those situations where you and I could go a million different directions in our conversation. But I want to begin, Mr. Ambassador, with the President talking about NATO. This may have been tough for you to hear. It's a message that you also have to relay to the folks with whom you work. This is what he said about NATO. Without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger. And his words were not minced. He called them cowards for not being willing to help the U.S. secure the Strait of Hormuz. And frankly, given what we have done for NATO countries for the past 50, 60, 70, 80 years, it hit very hard here in Washington. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and it hit really hard here in Brussels, too, Kevin. It's great to be with you. But President Trump is absolutely right. Nobody has done more for NATO than Donald Trump as president of the United States by making them invest more in their capabilities because they had taken decades off. And, I'm representing the United States interests at NATO, and I'm delivering tough messages, as you would expect. And President Trump is absolutely squared away on this. And we really find ourselves in a moment where our allies, whether it is in the Indo-Pacific or whether it's here in Europe, they all need to be stronger. They all need to invest as fast as possible in the things that are necessary, like ships, like actual troops, and more capabilities. And they're slowly moving out. But again, I keep pushing that we need to do more, and we need to do it faster. Because it's a dangerous world, as you know, and we see with the Iranian situation right now, firing missiles all over the Middle East, and now aimed a couple at Diego Garcia. And, I was down in Ceuta Bay this last week in the Mediterranean. I saw one of our destroyers there that's been part of the fight, getting refitted and reloaded to go back out. And, I was so proud to see and thank those brave men and women on that ship. That are just, the tip of the spear and doing everything we ask and just doing it in an amazing fashion.
Well, and it's none too soon to have them actually participate and make things right, because this is not just safety and security for American interests. This is safety and security for the world's interests. There is, however, finally a slowly growing coalition of allies that are claiming that they will help support the U.S. In our efforts in the Strait of Hormuz. Let me share this about the Hormuz Coalition. We express our readiness to contribute to appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait. We welcome the commitment of nations who are engaging in preparatory planning. We will take other steps to stabilize energy markets, including working with certain producing nations to increase output. That from the U.K. How did you take that messaging from London?
To my point, this is where I think our allies, especially here in Europe, they're so used to issuing strongly worded statements and thinking that that makes a difference. You know, that's not strength. And I keep explaining that strength is not in the words you say or write on a piece of paper. Strength is in your economies.
That's right.
And in your militaries. And for too long, they have neglected both of those things. And, you know, President Trump is pushing them to be stronger, to act stronger, and to be ready for the fight. And, you know, what we're seeing is that's a good first step. And I'm not going to suggest that being part of a coalition, and I know that, you know, a couple countries, including Portugal and Romania, just joined that statement as well. But we need to start seeing that turn into folks that are coordinating with us and working on clearing out the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, 3 words. Talk is cheap. Before I let you go, and I know you're very busy, and we certainly appreciate your time today, Hawkeye, I want to ask you about those strikes at the or near the Diego Garcia and the Indian Ocean. That really ratchets up things, and it certainly increases the concerns, not just for our troops in the U.K. Of course, we share operations at that particular base, but look at the range. Now you can legitimately say, I believe, that the whole of Europe is at risk from the regime. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, right now we don't know exactly kind of the capabilities of those missiles and whether they were modified to go further or, you know, made lighter to fly further. But it's still concerning, and I think the Iranians need to understand in their kind of last gasp here, 3 weeks into just getting completely decimated by the United States military together with Israel. I think they need to understand that if they, you know, are lashing out, whether it's against Great Britain and their bases, or whether it is against the Turks, or whether it is against our allies in the Middle East, you know, that is not bringing people against the United States. It's actually solidifying those that oppose Iran, and understand why President Trump made the bold decision to make the move now, and why this is so important ultimately for the world, and why it's dramatically going to improve the future for a lot of folks around the globe.
Yeah, most notably the people on the ground in that great country, which has so much potential, and obviously the entire globe is wishing for the very best as they hopefully will remove the regime from power there. Matt Whitaker, the ambassador to NATO, thank you for your time today, my friend. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you again, Kevin.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.